Hello everybody, and welcome to month 2 of Monday Munchies. My name is Becky, and I am the director, creator, producer, whatever you want to call it, of this series. But for the bigger picture, the Crossing Borders TV show I'm trying to get off the ground. It's a travel show, and right now travel is just kind of non-existent. So what I'm doing is traveling through food. We're going to focus on a different country every month. Last month was Japan. This month is going to be Greece. And every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will be getting a new video with a new recipe from that country. So let's get to it. So today I know Japan was last week, but I didn't get this shirt in time. It's my Choose Your Sensei shirt. I'm so excited about it. It's so cute. But for Greek week, or for Greek month, we have a local restaurant in Rochester called Lula's Greek Sweets, and I am rocking their merch today. They're super good. It says eat baklava. And they're super good. They're a vegan restaurant that specializes in Greek dishes and desserts. And if you are local to the Rochester area, I highly recommend you checking them out. Or if you come to Rochester to visit and you like Greek food, check them out. They're very good. So for today's Monday Munchies, we are going to be making Spanakopita. It is a pretty common Greek dish, at least in the Greek restaurants I've been to. You usually find it on there. It's a pastry filled with spinach and feta cheese and onions and seasoning, and it's really, really good. So we're gonna make that today. Just like last month, when we did Japan and used justonecookbook.com for all of our recipes, we are going to be using mygreekdish.com for all of our recipes, and that is from Eli K Giannopolous. I apologize if I said your name wrong. I think it's correct. Sorry if I did. I actually did take Greek for like 4 months and none of it stuck. I can't remember how to say hello, thank you, please, where is blank. That's like my typical list of things I like to know in a language when I first start learning, so I can at least, when I go to the country, be polite in the language. And Greek didn't stick with me. Anyways, enough rambling, getting off topic. We're making this dish today, and it's going to be crispy and cheesy and super, super yummy. As always, the link to the recipe will be in the description below, as will a link to Lula's Greek Sweets in case you want to check them out. Also in the description below will be links to Crossing Borders stuff, our website, Etsy, Patreon, which is really cool. What the Patreon will do is get you access to 1 to 2 recipes a month that aren't going on our public YouTube channel. It's a private playlist, I think is how we're doing it, for Patreon subscribers only at a certain tier. And it's just 2 bonus recipes, plus you'll get your name in the credits. You'll get a print from different countries every month of photos I've taken. You'll also receive some other cool perks. So you should definitely go check out our Patreon and check out our different tiers, see what works for you. You can always support us too by liking the video, subscribing, clicking the notification icon. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, or the spinach and cheese of this recipe, and take a look at our ingredients over at our counter. So you need 500 grams of spinach. This is not 500 grams. This plus this is 500 grams of spinach. It's a lot of spinach. The recipe says it's only going to make 18 mini Spanakopita, but that's a lot of spinach. I feel like Popeye over here. I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna get some muscles. Then we've got butter, because you'll need this for cooking up the onions, which we have red onions, 2 of them, and also for brushing the pastry dough, the phyllo dough, which is not pictured. And this is important because you do not want to take your phyllo dough out of the refrigerator until you're ready to use it. If you take it out and set it out, your dough is going to become gummy and it won't get that crispy texture that we want once we're baking it. So phyllo dough is in the fridge. Then you've got 2 red onions that we're going to finely chop, 2 eggies, 1 scallion, 2 cloves of garlic, which we're actually going to smash or crush. They say crush. I wanted to say smash.
and then 200 grams of crumbled feta cheese. You'll also need some dill and some nutmeg, and also salt and pepper to taste. So what you do first when you make a spanakopita, because we want to leave that phyllo dough in the refrigerator, is we're going to make the filling first. So we need to get the spinach out of the way. Spinach, get out of here. It's too much of you. We'll get all this nonsense out of the way that we don't need right now. Get out of here, dill. Get out of here, nutmeg. Get out of here, feta. Let's chippity chop some onions. So we've chopped the onions. We're going to put that in a separate bowl because now we need to roughly chop the spinach. So into the bowl we go. As always, I am not super coordinated, so we got a little onion over here, a little onion over there, some surprise onion over there somehow. Okay, set that to the side. All right, let's roughly chop this nonsense here. I love a rough chop because I don't gotta be specific with it. I just gotta chippy chop it. Boop, boop, boop. This feels like so. I know that spinach gets real wilty and cooks down really well. It just seems like so much spinach for 18 mini spanakopita. I find it amazing how once we've chopped all of that spinach, that took up 2 bowls, one gigantic bowl. Oh, hey. A couple stragglers in there. One gigantic bowl and one small bowl. Once it's roughly chopped, it all fits in one small bowl. So we like that. Next up is to just chop your scallion. Scallion and dill are both optional. I'm just doing it because I don't know what I'm going to like in there. Some of our bowls there for the scallion. And then also take your dill. And they said 1 to 2 tablespoons of dill. Finely chopped. Now we're going to crush up that garlic. First you're going to chop the ends off. Get your garlic naked. For those of you who don't know, when you do garlic, if you cut off the ends and then tap it real quick with this, it makes the skin of it come off really easily. I know not everybody knows that, so I thought I'd put that along as a little tip. And this is to just crush it. So we're just gonna crush 2 cloves of garlic. Crushed garlic is on the scene. Let's get this on into a bowl. Oop. And last but not least, for getting our prep done, we're gonna beat these eggs. So, that was a little dramatic. I really beat that egg. Some anger to work out, apparently. There we go. I'm going to take a page out of Namiko Chen's cookbook that we used last month and use chopsticks to whip this up. Also, I'm realizing I'm covering up kakashi. Sorry, Gojo. I like kakashi better. Take our chopsticks and whip. We're just going to beat the eggs so that way they are all ready to go once we need them. We don't have to worry about doing this later on. Prep and get everything cut the way you need it to be before you start cooking, so that way you can just cook and not worry about anything. Our ingredients are all chopped up. We are going to go ahead and make the filling. You probably recognize this pan. It is the mom pan. The pan my mom loves to cook her eggs in, and the pan I've used for every recipe that's needed a pan so far. I dubbed the mom pan. Let's pop over to the stove and get cooking. So we're about to cook the onions in our pan. It literally says a knob of butter in the pan. So I've equated that to about a tablespoon of butter. Pop that in there. So this recipe doesn't say how hot to cook anything at. The butter fell over. It was done. So what I'm going to do is just cook it at a medium high. And once it starts sizzling, we're going to pop those onions on there. Coat the bottom of the pan there. Ooh, our butter is actually already heating up. That went fast. Probably because I actually used this already today, so it's probably still a little warm from earlier. And there's a big old onion in there. I said I don't mind chunks of onion, but that's a little too big. That's a monster. So what we're gonna do is cook these up until they are tender and a golden brown. Once that happens, we're gonna add in the garlic and then add in the spinach. Another big piece of onion. Your girls' cutting skills need some work, but they are better than they were last month, so we're getting somewhere. Ooh, we've got some of them starting to brown up, which is good. I don't think we want them to turn all the way brown yet because we have some more cooking to do. So I'm probably gonna let this go for another 30 seconds, and then we're gonna add the garlic in. Alrighty, let's add the garlic. Get in there, garlic. And now that the garlic's in, we're just going to cook that a few more minutes. So I'm going to actually move this down to a medium heat because the onions are really browning up pretty quickly now. And we still have spinach to wilt down, so. We're going to put in the spinach a little at a time because if we were to put in this whole bowl, that's not going to work. It'll work, it just won't work as well. So a little spinach at a time, and then once it wilts, we'll add more spinach in. Make sure your spinach gets everywhere, that's important. But you really want to just put it all over the stove. Keep as little in the pan as possible. Get in there, spinach. It's like they don't want to cook. They all want to escape. I'm going to turn you into something delicious, spinach. Trust me. We're out here doing some cool things. So if you don't already follow us on Instagram or our Patreon or here on YouTube for our little Monday Munchies videos, get on that. You're missing out on some cool stuff, my dudes. Get your rears and gear and follow the links in the description after this video's over. Because I'm working hard over here, okay? And this is all wilted, so we are done cooking the spinach. We're going to set this aside, let it cool. Once it's cooled a little bit, we'll mix in our feta, our dill. I think the scallions go in too at that point. And our salt and pepper, and then we'll start filling our phyllo dough for our spanakopita. So we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so we have let that mixture cool down for about 20 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and put this in a bowl now because we need to mix it with the feta, the eggs, the dill, the scallions, salt and pepper. Over to the counter. You want to get as little of the liquid in here as possible because if you get too much of the liquid from the spinach, your spanakopita is going to be mushy. Next up, we're going to add our scallions, our feta. Unceremoniously, we just dumped that right in there, didn't we? A pinch of nutmeg, the eggs, and seasoning. So I'm going to do just a little bit of salt, little bit of pepper, just because I always feel like it's good to have both. This is also where you're going to put the dill in. Again, the dill is optional. I'm going to put the dill in. Because I like pickles, dill pickles, you know, I like dill. I think it'll be good in here. You're going to mix it all together. Mix, mix, mix. Also, just make sure you say hi in the comments. I like hearing from everybody. Let me know if you made these. Let me know if you've been to Greece. It's on my list. We'll be going there once travel's good again. I just haven't been yet. Always, without fail, something will end up on the counter or on the stove. It's just the role I play in life, is to get stuff everywhere. So here's our mixture of the feta, eggs, nutmeg, dill, scallions, onions, spinach, garlic, salt, pepper. I think that's everything. So we're going to set this aside while we break open the phyllo dough. All right, fresh out of the refrigerator. I have no idea what this looks like. When you work with phyllo dough, you want a dry, not floured surface. This is cool. I don't know what these are going to be like when you open them. Okay. Oh. All right, we're going to unroll. We're going to unroll the phyllo dough. It is paper thin, so please be careful with it. I was probably a little too rough with it just there. This top one was already ripped. We're just gonna, it feels like such a waste. Sorry, phyllo dough. We need 10 sheets altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is this 6? 5, 6, 7, 8, oh wow, 9 and 10. That's exactly 10. All right, rock on. Okay. We're gonna put the rest of the dough back in here. And when you're not using the dough, right back in the fridge. I'm gonna grab a pizza cutter, and I think it'll be easier to cut the lanes. So we're gonna cut these in 3 to 4 lanes. Basically, the size is just however big you want your Spanakopita to be. Well, that lane's a little asymmetrical. That's okay. We don't have to be perfect here. All right, so I missed a step. It happens. We're gonna leave in the mishaps, because mishaps happen, especially when you're learning something new for the first time. So what I did was stack all 10 sheets and cut them into 3 to 4 lanes all together. But what we should have done is 1 sheet at a time. So we're just gonna do it a little different. So we're going to take one of our lanes, drizzle it with butter, then we're going to take another sheet and put it on top. We're going to break the sheet, that sounds about right. Be very careful when you're working with phyllo dough, it is fragile. I'm just going to break that all the way so I can fix it. There we go. And we're going to drizzle more butter on top of that. All right, now that our phyllo dough is buttered and stacked, we're going to take 1 tablespoon of our filling, and at the end of each lane, we're going to put that tablespoon of filling. So we're going to fold one corner to make it a triangle, and then the other corner to make it a triangle. And we're just going to keep folding triangles in on themselves here until we have one completed Spanakopita. And we're going to set that to the side and do another one. And we're basically just going to repeat this process until we have all of our filling used up. Alright, so we still have a few more to make. I still have put it in a strainer to get some more of the liquid out.
We still have more filling, so I'm going to keep going with that. In the meantime, our oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius. We're going to go ahead and put what we have made up so far on here and cook it for about 30 minutes. Now I did put parchment paper down just so they don't stick. In they go. Oh, sugar.
Something that's probably super important to do, so you get a nice crispy outside, is baste the top of these with some more butter. So you get a nice brown crust. Ooh, it's already pretty flaky. I can hear them crisping. All right, now let's put them back in the oven. I'm all over the place with this recipe, just when I was talking about being more professional. I was like, have all your things together beforehand so it makes everything so easy. I'm a pro. Meanwhile, forget 17 steps in your process. So we're going to go ahead and baste the ones we just finished up with some butter and pop these in our oven for a half hour to join our other ones that are cooking. Yeah. See you in a half hour after these are done. All right, let's take a little peek. Ooh, them's looking nice. So I got about 4 more minutes on the top ones and probably about 6 minutes on the bottom ones because those were the second batch I put in.
Here they are. I did a little plating. They all fell. But they look really good. You can hear how crispy they are. I'm gonna take the best looking one. Look how crispy and look at it. It's so crispy. These are so hot still. It's almost like they just came out of the oven. I'm impatient. What it looks like inside. Ooh, see the steam rising? I don't know if you can. Let's try it out. It's hot. Oh, it's hot. Like, you can see the steam coming up. It literally just came out of the oven. I'm just impatient. It's very good. The phyllo dough is perfect. It's flaky, it's crispy. The cheese is ooey gooey. The spinach is good. Our seasoning came out really well, and the onions are good in there. Just a good dish. So, like I said, sound off. Let me know if you tried it at home yourself and how it turned out. I'm gonna put this down because it's burning my hands. All right, so that does it for this Monday Munchies. So again, we are using mygreekdish.com for this recipe, with the author being Eli K Giannopolous. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, give us a like if you like the content, leave a comment if you really like the content. We like hearing from you guys, just even if it's just to say, hey, how are ya? Love the video, or you're mispronouncing this. That's cool too. I'm happy to know what I'm mispronouncing so I can do better next time. As always, we'll see you in the next one, and just take care, be good to each other, and have a good day. Bye guys.